Hey, Shalom, and sure, I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle GMS and honors to you both doing the work in truth while sincerity. This is just a real quick one. This one, some two stories that I came across on my way home. So, London, you got this paper, Evening Standard. Just get it free, pick it up. Usually on the London Underground, the metros, you call it in the States or whatever. And one of the stories was basically cash may no longer be king, but don't ditch your pennies. Right, the Chancellor of the Exchequer was true to his word last week, delivering a dull, measureless speech. Yada. Basically, one of the things he says is that cash is having less and less of an impact. Not an impact, less of a use in in everyday life. Now, what I did want is, which I was looking for, this geezer Jack Dorsey is the second article that I read, of in the same paper, where basically you got the geezer Jack Dorsey, better known as the CEO, or rather one of the founders of Twitter, basically saying, talking about new money, right? And we go into this article. I was trying to find something, that was talking more about what he said, so we can share with you. But yeah, it says another article. He's basically saying Bitcoin will be the world's single currency, says Twitter and Square CEO Dorsey, right? And this company Square here are all about digital payments. That's the next company that he set up, right? And we can see the infrastructure. And in fact, one of the things he quotes is saying in this in this article, if I can find it real quick, is he's asked whether he can envision. I've got 2 points. He says whether he can envision homeless people using. It says, so can he imagine buskers taking card payments through Square? And his response was absolutely. So maybe not homeless per se, but buskers, right? You just give them, you tap this, that, and the other, right? But then here's another point, though, that I wanted to touch on what he was said. Right, he said, this is one of the paragraphs says, when I suggest that cash might still have a dark sort of future, that a digital auditable trail linking one to the other might not go down well with some people who now prefer to disguise their transaction from others, he looks properly shocked, right? And then he responds by saying, we only deal in legal transactions. We are not in business for untraceable transaction, right? Because that's another way they're going to push it. Like, what if you haven't got the chip? Because we all know what this leads to. We know that it leads to the mark of the beast, which we know, Post broke it down through spirit, is the RFID microchip, right? And that microchip is going to be used, it's going to be forced upon the people. And if you don't take the chip, you're going to be deemed deemed an enemy of the state, right? So you got let me just get some scriptures, right? It says Job 20:23 says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating, right? So when Esau's about to achieve his goal, basically putting everyone on the chip and in slavery, because that's what this chip is. That's the point that I last read, which was about how you won't be able to have untraceable transactions. Everything will be looped through, right? That's how, that is having everyone in absolute subject poverty, not poverty, but slavery, right? Because no actions you take, right, will be what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, every action you make will be recorded, right? So let's say you buy a pizza every Friday, right, at 7 o'clock in the evening, right? Then basically one way or another that will be fed back into in a loop, where basically now you're starting to get advertising, Thursday night, to say, oh, what pizza are you having tomorrow? Oh, get this pizza, get that pizza, or even coming up to that Friday 7 o'clock. Right, simple things like that, where you're no longer capable of making your own decisions, and you've got AI basically making decisions on your behalf, right? But they're gonna try to tie it in to say, only people that do illegal stuff, right, don't want to take the chip, which is, we don't want to take the chip because the Lord said don't take the chip, and that's just as simple of it. As Revelation 13:16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, right? And we know the word here, mark, is charagma in the Greek, G5480, right? It says a stamp and imprinted mark, right? Basically, base something inserted, and mark of the beast is the RFID microchip. However, right, if you disagree that it's the mark of the beast, you still can't take it because that's against the law, right? The law talks about making incisions in your flesh. I believe that's what Leviticus 19:27, no, around 19:27. I always forget roughly, right? Yes, Leviticus 19:28 says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord." Right? Basically, expounding on that point. Let me finish the rest of this. Right, says, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark." Right? And you can see that happening as well, because a lot of the ATM machines here. So, I can talk about, the areas that I'm around, right? Barclays, for instance, they're well ahead of the game. A lot of their cash machines, you can use your contactless card in the area I am anyway, right? So you can see that the infrastructure is there. All the, card terminals can take contactless payment, and they did that in maybe a year or so. So the infrastructure is there, right, to make payments, right? And all they have to say is, look, man, we can't use cash anymore, and that's it. It's just all the number of his name, right? Let me just get this as well. Right, it says Revelation 14:9. This is the judgment for taking the chips. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his right hand or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Right, because it doesn't matter where you take the chip. You can take it in your buttocks. Right, you said that Esau is your God, right? And the Lord has basically said that you shall have no God beside me, right? The Lord is all about faith, man. Because this will come in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But what does the scripture say? It says, this is the time of Jacob's trouble. He shall be saved out of it. Right? And that's the faith. That's the hope that we have, right? Right, is this one? Time of Jacob's trouble. Saved out of it. Is it 2 and 10? Maybe 2 and 10. Completely forgot. I'm thinking of Jeremiah 30:7. Right, it says Jeremiah 30:7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? Yeah, the hope and the faith is that we're going to be saved out of the destruction and all of the bad tidings that are to come. Right? But yeah, let me carry on here. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Indignation meaning righteous anger, right? And basically it's some unadulterated indignation in that anger. That's what it means without mixture. It ain't watered down. Right, it says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And that isn't talking about hell. We know that hell isn't a thing. Right, but it's talking about those nuclear missiles, man. Right, so like I said, it's supposed to be just a quick one with that. Those are all you edify. Say shalom.